Welcome to the Library Board of Trustees meeting. Today is September 12th. We'll start with correspondence.
No.
Yep. Public comment. Okay. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes of prior meeting? Any thoughts, questions? Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of July 29th.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Terrific. Treasurer's report.
All right, in state aid, we have $20,710.08. In MMDT, we have $15,283.62. In the gift fund, we have $27,320.62. In the MBLC grant, we still have $686,044. In the building gift, we have $28,505.02. And the Barth ending statement value is $1,680,794.87.
Does anyone have any questions or thoughts about the treasurer's report?
The Barth did go up again.
Yeah, nice, good. Okay. Moving on to the Friends report, which is me today. Okay. We have a lot of notes, but I don't think all of them are relevant. The trailer is full of the books, but More Than Words is working, so like it's continuing to work, so they're going to continue working with them. The membership report, there were 4 returning members since the previous meeting. The total number of members this year is 96. Last year at that time it was 120. So there was a long discussion about what's going on with that, and especially looking at the percentages of the total cards at the library is 6,300, and the total percent of those that's Littleton are 5,500-ish. So that's like a 10%. So there's a long conversation about how to get more people to be members.
Well, I know I don't get renewal reminders, so like if they could process, and I'd suggest that too, but like I want to be a member, I want to give them my money.
Yeah.
But if you don't remind me, I'm going to forget. So
Appreciate the bar. Yeah, I think that's they're talking about it. Yeah. They have 48,000 in their account. There was some talk about updating the donor wall. I think Sarah said,
yeah, there you go, more first grade show too.
Yeah. They talked about jeans last week. And then
Is that next week?
it is the 23rd to the 27th. Yeah. Mini golf is going to be March 14th to the 15th. Yeah. Exciting. The next book sale is October 18th to the 20th. And they would like to encourage teens to volunteer to bake cookies for the book sale. That's the highlight. Does anyone have any questions about those? Because I may have more information that's just in my notes, but I didn't mention. Okay, that's right. Thank you for the walk. Yeah. All right. Building updates.
I did speak to the architect a couple days ago. He said there's no update on that yet.
Does he need anything else?
No, it's just waiting on the department that does it.
Anything we can do? Push a little bit?
I don't think so. The elevator failed inspection because there was a faulty unit at the top of it. So Eric, the new facilities manager, is dealing with it. I don't have to. So yeah, so he said it's just like a $300 part that you can get on Amazon. So he's just waiting for it to come.
And the town's covering that?
Yeah.
What is the new drug,
Eric Durga. The AC unit in the server room also, failed, but he also fixed that. And today there was another backup in the bathroom. Teachers were here again. So, but they fixed that as well. So, yeah,
who fixed the building
yeah,
facilities?
yeah.
Fixed
It's
it.
all Eric.
He's amazing.
Finally.
I'm gonna go walk over there with some sort of baked good. We'll say thank you.
And then I did update the building issues.
Did you say there's an HVAC thing?
Yeah, it was a HVAC.
Can you add that to this too when you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I forgot to add.
Awesome.
That's it.
The backup is, this is a, hasn't happened in a
So,
while, right?
apparently it was wipes. Someone flushed wipes down. Yeah. Even though I don't know what else to do. I put up signs.
You know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Bathroom on. Cool. Speaking of privacy in the library. Right in the house.
All right, any questions about the building update?
I am very thankful for the facilities
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yay. Whew. All right, director's report.
Right. So the gallery committee and I met to discuss the state of artists. For next year, we chose 9 out of, I think we had 10 applicants or 11 applicants. So there was only 1 or 2 people that we turned out. And I contacted the schools. Every year we give the school 3, each of the schools 3 meetings. We choose 9. So, yeah, so they're all chosen. We also had a department head meeting, the town department heads that have credit cards. We all met with the finance team and Jim to discuss some new rules surrounding credit cards. So I guess the town gets audited every time they use credit cards, and they don't like some of the things we've been doing with the cards, such as buying gift cards, because that's basically like paying you could be misusing it and buying gift cards. It's like taking out cash, kind of. So we're not allowed to buy gift cards anymore. If I'm buying any large amount of food, like I would buy for staff meetings, I have to get the permission of probably Brian.
Even if it's through the trust company.
Yeah, even if
Okay.
I'm using a credit card. Yeah, so there was just some little rules about that. And also they came up with a new rule that any travel outside of New England has to be approved by the town administrator. So if I want to go to, or someone wants to go to professional development somewhere outside of New England, you just have to talk to Jim. I submitted both errors reports to MBLC. There's no issues with that, so still waiting to hear back from them. I don't think they made any kind of decisions on that. I met with Elizabeth Steele and Kristen McManus, McManus, 2 of the history teachers from the high school. So they'd like us to work with us on doing a community read, maybe next spring or in winter, spring time. They would want to do, they got a genocide education grant from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And so that allowed them to buy a bunch of books. And so they'd like to sort of work with us to work on programs and lending out the books to patrons. And so we're discussing that. Still need to discuss future.
I saw Kristen, she's very excited.
Yeah.
About the possibilities of partnership here.
Yeah. So I met with, August 28th, I met with the Personnel Advisory Committee to discuss, so with Jean leaving, I decided to make that into sort of an assistant children's / teen librarian position. So that doesn't really exist. So I spoke with the Personnel Advisory Committee because they had to approve a job description for that. So they decided to grade it a 10. So the way they approached it is, senior librarians, department heads are grade 11. So children's librarians, the Megans are grade 11, Julie B. So they figured if it's an assistant, it would be a grade 10 because it's supporting that position. So
If someone comes in internally for the job, can they stay on the same step they were on before at level 10 instead of going back to step 1?
no. So they would make more money. So are you saying,
Like if someone's been here 5 years
yeah,
and they're 8, but they move up to 10, can they keep their 5-year tenure instead of moving back to 1?
I don't think so.
My understanding is
It
you
works
can
with-
advocate. for
Yeah, I
that.
can advocate. for it.
Yeah.
It depends on where that falls in the budget. Yeah.
If it comes up,
Yeah.
you can try,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so,
we're saying, Sam, is you have the power to
Yes.
advocate for
Yeah.
your
oh, yeah,
candidate.
but I don't think anyone's gonna have they're definitely gonna get a raise. Cause step is more the money than the number of years they've been here. If that makes sense. It's not like a tenure kind of thing. Yeah, so anyway, I met with them, then I met with the select board on Monday and they agreed, they approved it. And today I posted it. It's only to be posted internally for a week. So yeah, so I just posted this week. So
Is the intention, that person, did you say, is supporting both children and?
yeah, so the intention is that it would be an assistant youth services librarian. That's the title.
So down here.
Yes, so down here. But they would also do some work at the circuit desk from time to time if needed. But yeah, it's meant to create a librarian position. With all the skills, so someone to support both Megan and Diane,
It's full time.
and it's full time. I mean, Gina's kind of the assistant children's librarian anyway,
Yeah.
but just not with the title. Yeah, so that's been posted. And yeah, so we'll see what happens.
They'll just keep it open until.
Yeah, so I definitely have 2 people that are applying. I don't know of anybody else, but. Yeah, so Diane's on vacation this week, but I already spoke to Megan about being on the interview team, which is, you might, I think, did I speak to you about it already? Maybe.
No, but I told
Yeah.
you.
He accepts.
Yeah, so hopefully by next week we'll have somebody.
You'll have somebody hired or you'll have somebody,
I'll probably, I mean, if it's only 2 people,
but do you
I'll
have
do-
to also
I'll,
offer it outside?
no,
You
No.
you don't have to, okay.
I just have to wait until the week. I can interview before the week is over. They both send it to me by the time.
Do you think there's value to seeing who's out there outside of the library as well?
No, I think the 2 people that are applying are pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I give it to both of them, if I could.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
And then you'll have to backfill it.
now it's
Decide
gonna
to-
go on whatever I decide. Yeah. On September 4th, I met with high school student Sam Ludo about his NHS project. He wants to do some sort of special Lego thing called spike kits. Lego spike kits. So he has this whole project planned for a STEM project. He's already got the funding from the library, the high school tech team. They said they would buy the actual devices and he would get the volunteers from the middle schoolers. I mean, from the high schoolers. And so, yeah, so we're working out. He just sent me the proposal this morning. We did meet a couple of days ago, but he sent me like the final proposal this morning. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I was gonna say, I don't remember, I think we did, I think LEF funded sets of those for the high school last year. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so we're discussing that. I attended an emergency crisis management webinar on September 4th. That was put on by MBLC. So I'm going to use some of the information I learned from that to put into the disaster plan that I'm working on. And I also have a flood emergency webinar on Friday. Today, all day, I attended an adult mental health first aid program at the Lancaster Community Center. That's not the library, community center. So mental health first aid, it's sort of like learning CPR. It's just learning what to do if you have a mental health emergency. Yeah.
Are you exhausted? Because it was exhausting today.
It was just long. There was only 8 of us in the class and the teacher was very nice, but it was just, very long day. It's a lot of deep stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
446 children signed up for the summer reading program. And total attendees at programs was 1,799.
wow.
143 teens signed up and 366 attended programs.
Do you know how that compares to last year?
It's about the same. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Is, well, we're still in that. Is there anything, have you talked to Megan or Diane about if there's anything that they thought really went well this year, or that they didn't go well, or if they would change for next year?
Diane's been on vacation. Diane goes on vacation.
Like after.
She needs to
So-
like, shake it down.
So I plan to have, department head meeting probably next week. So I'll talk to her about.
I overheard Megan talking to my kids about like some of the things that went fast in the 3D printer, stuff from the 3D.
Oh, yeah.
That was really fast.
Yeah.
Yep, and Jean's last day will be September 27th, and so we're planning to have patrons come in and just say goodbye. I think Diane has some things planned. Yeah, and then the rest is just the stats and the budget, blank track for the budget. Any questions? Yes.
I don't know why I raised my hand.
It's not too long.
I have notes here. Geographic field is coming on September 25th. Can there be more than 50 people in the room?
Yes.
Could you open up the registration?
Reopen
Is it already closed?
Yeah, it's already full.
I already opened it more. Okay.
Yeah,
I can-
closed.
I can.
Yeah, no, we
Okay.
managed to get the word out and it.
Yeah.
is closed.
Oh.
And there are people asking,
That's, I
they
know,
can
told
just
people.
sneak in, so.
All right, I'll do that right now.
Yeah.
Sticks.
Great.
I see this is further down the agenda, so maybe this isn't the right time, but when I was looking at the trustee contributions from the BARC, I see the 6,000 still kind of sitting there. And
Yeah.
the hours for your students
So
don't
we
seem
will-
to be complete.
Yeah, we're waiting on, some of them to, give us their W-9s.
Okay.
Need their W-9 forms before we can actually cut them a check. I think most of them need hours.
Maybe I
Pretty
misread it,
close,
but yeah,
But, yeah, the check thing was with the W-9s.
okay, so there's just a delay for.
Yeah.
Paperwork and Charlie getting all the hours for this. Okay. And then, yeah, no, that's good. Good now.
All right, well, Sam's updating that. Does anyone have any other questions from the director's report or for the director?
So so you said patrons can come in weeks that Jean is retiring, but is there anything you guys need for support to expression? For materials or whatever, getting the word out, anything?
No, I don't think so. I think I put it in the newsletter. Put it on Facebook, I'll probably put that website.
Put it on browse or something.
Right. Put up, so I think I did put it on browse. I did the last one. I can put it out again.
Yeah, if you put it out on Facebook, it can help share it. Definitely come see her that week.
All right, Mike.
Well, mine will probably be a little bit quicker than Sam's. Aside from the normal amount of cataloging that we've been doing, Atsuko and I are still working on finishing up the biography project. And then next week, I'm gonna be doing a candle making program,
What program?
candle making,
Candle.
on the 21st.
You're running it?
Well, I'm not gonna run it, but I'll be here and help set up the person. And that's about it.
What's the biography project?
We're just really make all the biographies. We're down to pretty much, I think, the last section. It's like one more cart, and then yesterday I just went through and looked for any missed ones, not necessarily were missed, but were probably checked out and have been returned and reshelved. So, just odd ones. And it's kind of confusing now because they don't have they'll stick around them. So,
Any upcoming projects you want to share?
oh, let's see. Then we'll probably relabel the biographies in the large print. I plan on taking the 920s, which are biographies of groups of people, and putting them in the normal biography with the single biographies. The audiobooks need to be relabeled at some point. It's probably about it.
So biographies all the time.
And audiobooks.
I know, yeah. Okay. Any questions for Mike?
No.
Okay. Moving on to old business. Sam/Katrina. Trustee MMDT budget transfer.
Yeah, can you send me an email?
Yeah, so the email you sent me said, you're requesting funding the remaining, I think this is it for the budget.
Yeah, I think
Right.
so.
Professional development for $5,841.67, and then furniture miscellaneous, that bucket of miscellaneous building things, for 1,500. And I just want to confirm, in June, when we talked about this, we said professional development had 3 buckets, 5,000 for workshop, conference attendance, travel, 750 for professional speakers, and 750 for meeting supplies, food, things like that. So this number is above that. I'm not total, like, what are you planning for professional development, so I can figure out what bucket those kind of activities are? Have you planned what to do with this money yet?
Not yet. So mostly, so professional speakers, I don't always have to pay them.
Right.
Usually comment. I kind of just put that in as a placeholder for now.
But I mean, the numbers seem very specific.
Because I was trying to get the $40,000.
Okay, gotcha. The 41,000 is
Yeah.
really where you're going with it.
Yeah.
I understand where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meeting supplies, food, that does usually come out to a couple hundred each time we do it.
Mhm.
And then there's usually one that's the friends. So that number is roughly what we would need.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in total, that's $7,341.67 to hit the 41,000 that we agreed upon in June. Is everyone, any questions about Sam's plan for the remainder of our trust fund budget for the year? And transferring it now just makes it easier for you to access when you need it.
Yeah,
Is that
'cause
the
it takes
idea?
takes them a long time to do it sometimes.
It has been taking them longer, I've noticed.
Yeah.
For you
So I'd
to,
rather just have it there and, have it,
I mean, there's the balance of like keeping it in our account as long as possible, especially as it's growing versus like
yeah.
making sure you have it. So.
That was, by the way, the spreadsheet I was talking about. Both.
Yeah, I found it. It took me a while.
Yeah,
But I found
and
it.
if that could be in like we have for the building one, somewhere shared, so we could look at it and where it is, where we're at with it.
Yeah. So yeah, for each bucket.
I just sent
You
an
did
email.
put it in the direct, it's at the end of the director's report too.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, okay.
So it is, he created a new, so I then just had to figure out what we say. So, so I'm back to June's meeting minutes. So, okay, in that case, if everyone is content with that.
Oh, I see it. I think that's exactly what I was talking about. That's great, thank you.
You hit me in the middle of a
That's
meeting,
okay.
so I had no idea what I was doing. Okay, I'm gonna just round this up to $7,345 for ease. There's your number, Chris. I move that the trustees transfer $7,345 from 313 Eunice Morrison funds, ending earnings into MMDT for the payment of professional development and furniture or miscellaneous purchases for the building. My second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you, Katrina.
You can send me those.
I emailed it to you.
Oh, I just looked. I didn't get that.
It's in the same email from earlier. I said, if we, potential motion, what it said. You do need to add the
I'm
number.
sorry. Sorry, I've already copied the numbers from the budget and I didn't think it,
Yeah, well, I didn't know if we would.
Yeah,
I
that's
got it.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, 7,345.
Is there any other old business anyone would like to share? Okay, moving on to new business, wondering if we can, because I think it'll be a shorter conversation, go to do Ray Grande scholarship first and then do policies. Is that okay with everyone? All right, Sam, do you have an update on Ray Grande scholarship?
No, other than what I just said, that we're just waiting to be done. And, you had asked me if I'd given them the checks that haven't yet, because we don't have the W-9.
Okay,
Yeah.
and have you been in touch with Judy about possibly being there? Whatever.
No, because I don't know if I'm gonna get the checks.
Order of things, okay.
Assuming our senior is already off,
Oh, yeah,
No.
but invite them and then the junior sculpture will be able to do.
Yeah. There's always breaks, I guess, to do that.
I just want to make sure we get the students the money.
Totally, yeah.
They've earned it and then
Yeah.
we need it.
All right, thank you. Library policies, I just want to say, because I added some lists today, I acknowledge that I was on the committee and some of the things that are in there that I had suggested maybe changing were from when I was on the committee also, so this is, but I just added just a few notes today, so I just wanted to say that I know some of those are probably mine before, but yeah. Okay. All right, should we go through them one by one? Library things? Can you bring it up? Okay, sure.
So I did not compare it to the prior one. Has anything changed on this?
Well, the 12 and older, I think we had changed the age, so that was one of the big content changes. Right here, I don't know how it looks for you, but we had a link where it said the replacement values for a thing will be listed, and I think the three of us had decided to phrase it will be listed because the values aren't there now. Which is okay, I think this just covers us, but we had dropped a link, I just noticed it, so I graded out, if it's okay with everyone, I'm just gonna delete that, because I don't know if we should put, click here to see the link and put the actual link, but that was just a logistics thing, guys.
And I added the link that Katrina gave me earlier, so that is underneath.
So that's the one I deleted because it redirects you to a different one, so I dropped the more direct one there, and then it says, I included it as a link, I guess one of the questions that we were talking before is, we'll be viewing these electronically or in print, because it's good to have the link to what we want them to check out, but if it's gonna be in print. I'm afraid it should be, or it should be typed out, it shouldn't just be the.
So this link here is one that goes to the library things page.
Yes,
So
and then the link here goes to the link that's right underneath it as well, I didn't know if we need to include both.
I think I would do it as parentheses. Let's include I think you're right, having it spelled out is probably a good idea.
And so the replacement values, like when I click on it, I don't say see replace.
So we put will be listed.
Will be
because I
listed,
think
okay.
that's how we had left it at the last.
I think, Mike, were you gonna work on it?
They are listed.
They are? Okay.
Yeah.
Where?
I think I was just on the hotspot one that didn't have it.
Uh,
Unless I missed it.
we missed the spots, but put them on all the other ones.
And it might be that.
Okay.
Speaking of hotspot, Katrina had added, it says things may be required for up to 14 days, and then Katrina said except for hotspots, which are 7 days.
That was me.
That was Kimberly.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't think
I know.
meant it.
All right. Well, I've added that because I think it's important.
I learned that during vacation, so, yeah.
And then as to why it's only 7 for that, only because the only time we borrowed a hotspot, it was for vacation and we needed it for like 10 days or
Right.
14. This is specific to that.
Probably because they're the most popular
Yeah.
thing.
Did you go through the MBLC program?
I thought it was an
Go.
MPLC thing.
There might be, it might be left over from that.
It might be.
Yeah, but yeah, we used to have our own. Then we went through the MBLC program, but then that ended. So now we have our own again. So I can't remember if that was an MBLC requirement or if it's just because it was popular. But.
Do you want to look at it, reassess?
Yeah, I'm looking at it, I guess. They're still popular. So.
It's still popular, so.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
I feel like on a sort of macro level, we decided that, it's okay, if it ends up being 10 days, we'd rather the policy be stricter rather than, if we have to veer in one direction, we'd rather default to stricter and then.
So that more
have
people
it.
can access them.
I don't think content wise we changed much beyond that.
I honestly can't remember what the original, what I did.
It's around the MB, like where it says a valid MPLC library card in good standing is required. One of them, and I think it was this one, was like, here's how you get that. There was just too much, so we took out some of that, but content wise, I don't think we changed anything.
So she learned about like getting the card from
Right, it just didn't belong there, even though it made sense, so
I think the MVLC card you're referring to is in the borrowing privileges. Which
Yes.
is courses.
we made them, yeah.
I think when I looked at it earlier
I mean, you
today,
could link to the borrowing privileges policy in this one, it's part of it.
no, I'm second guessing the whole link thing. You had mentioned, earlier it said, should we link the collection development policy? And if we're gonna link things, then we have to spell them out everywhere, so I'm not sure. Well, we could spell them out everywhere, or it's not the best thing, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of redundant the way you have it now, because if the here is a hyperlink, then
The
the,
question was if it's printed out, then no, then people don't know where to go.
but the printed out one is also hyperlink, so you can click on both of them, so you don't really need.
I didn't mean to link, this just came up as a hyperlink, we could change the format of it, but if anybody's gonna type it,
No, I mean, I think that's a good thing, if you have the hyperlink with it all spelled out, so it's all spelled out, and you can just click on it,
Right.
so you don't need
You
it.
can hyperlink the big
You take out here is what you're saying.
Right.
Right.
online ad or whatever.
Just a tiny bit too, we make the.
that'll be the next move.
No, you're fine.
Okay, it's fine.
Is that serial minutes?
It's hard to tell, right?
Punctuation, yeah, so that. Is it in shape to be approved, or does it need to be?
I think it's pretty good. Did you want to try to, just because it was on there earlier, did you want to link to the library collection development policy in the second paragraph after donations? Or just people can find it?
I think people can find it. Also, we haven't reviewed that one yet. So if it changes, then Sam would have to, so I think it's fine if we don't. If they really want to know, they can go and find it.
I'm good with this as it is, as fixed from last few times. Awesome, thank you.
Do you want to take this one out of single
Yeah, I do.
basis?
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to this or any questions about it? Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve it?
I move to approve the library of things policy.
All in favor? Perfect.
Now, do we just change the date, or then I still vote about it?
And we have now approved it, though, as of today.
Exciting. Okay. Internet policy.
I think from our discussion, it was very possible to go down multiple rabbit holes. And there's a lot more that we need to address maybe in the future, but not from a policy perspective. I think that we thought the language was kind of vague and inclusive enough to protect the policy, but that there were still questions that we have. And I know, like, I wrote an accidental dissertation and sent it to Sam in the middle of the night, and it had all these questions in it, and I was like looking at all the libraries all around here to see what they do, but I think that what we came up with is that no matter what changes are made in the future or whatever, it was correct to take out the unfiltered. That was the big thing that had, it was unfiltered. And, Kimberly, I saw that you down here had the question about what constitutes misuse, but I think the paragraph above it
Yeah. Okay.
does. I mean, again, it could be very vague and it could expand to more than this, but just from a basic perspective, they must not use computing resources to gain unauthorized access to local.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yep, that makes me.
But I don't think it was meant in like a vague pearl clutching kind of way, like, oh, that's inappropriate. It's specific to the prior paragraph.
Okay. I think that was my concern was like what happened last month, like, was that misuse or was it okay, right? Like, that's where I was, yeah.
Right. And then on the flip side, having it be a little vague does allow some discretion of the librarians to say, just, I know it in my gut that this is inappropriate, whatever's happening, but I know that that's a concern too. So it can refer back to the prior paragraph. I don't know if it can also refer to discretion of the librarian. I mean, even the word respectful is big too. But I mean, I think some of that was intentional because this protects kind of the basic concepts that we agreed to, but doesn't get into the specifics of how we filter or whether it's filtered at a town level or whether there's a block on kids or anything like that. It was just saying, like, based on what we know, this is what you're allowed to do.
So,
Question with, sorry.
yeah, so since the last meeting, I spoke to IT. So when we moved into the new building, they installed the new Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So I assumed it just carried over, but it didn't. So there was a lot of filters actually on things that I didn't realize. Like, I tried to go to Planned Parenthood, the Wi-Fi, and I couldn't. So I mean, you could on the computers, but you couldn't go because there was a block on a portion. So,
Oh,
we took all that off.
Thank you.
That's all
Yeah.
done. So the only filter that does exist right now is porn. You can't get porn in the library. Pretty
Okay.
much anything else. Free right now. But,
Within reason, people.
Within-
I try to.
well, and you can't go to like sites that would like be, spam or like, intentionally like, yeah, for the library's internet. But, pretty much anything else is unfiltered now.
In terms of misuse, I just am coming back to it just a little bit, because if a librarian was like, you're misusing the computer, and then does that open us up to any liability?
Misusing the internet or the computer?
It does either.
I mean, it would depend on what it was, if they're, violating our behavior policy.
I was gonna say, if it overlaps with a behavior policy, then.
You know,
If no one else is worried about this, I'm fine with letting it go. I was just.
So also this misuse and we could be liable if we don't stop too.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're using our system to,
Just whether the librarians feel comfortable with
We're gonna,
the
like,
judgment of what
find out.
is misuse or not misuse.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think that's fine. That's fair.
The only other thing I had was, last, in the notes I saw that we mentioned the, children, like linking to the children's room policy. I didn't see that in here.
We didn't because
Okay.
we had a reason.
Okay, good.
Right, it had to do with the freedom to view statements that we linked to in lieu of the children's, because there used to be, when it had unfiltered, it said except for the children.
Ah,
And so
okay.
we took that language out, and so we no longer needed to link
Got
it.
Okay, we did have.
Sorry that I-
That was one of my, it related to my question, because in our current versions, there is a statement of parents or designated guardians who wish to limit or restrict access to their own children personally oversee their use of the internet and other forms of electronic information. And minors who visit the library without a parent or guardian are responsible for their own decisions and behaviors. So that has been removed from this version.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
So, yeah, I guess that to me, I'm like, does this cover us for the parents should be doing their job if they're concerned?
Well, so 12.
Do we
and
have
under
that in
shouldn't be
the, I guess, do we have that in the,
Right. 12 and under shouldn't be here alone anyway.
Right, but in terms of specifically like parents and guardians are responsible for what their children are looking at. Also the 12 plus goes in a different policy than this one. Did this get taken out for a specific cause? This one?
I feel like that sentence at the beginning with library staff. We were sort of like, library staff will not, like, we're not controlling, we're not limiting, we're not like. Under access, am I remembering correctly, Stephanie? Right, that library staff will not monitor, control, or restrict anyone's access to equipment.
So I had a question, this is where I had a question too, and
Yes, library patient, I'm sorry.
but library patrons are the children also patrons, are they?
In our discussion, they were, so if you disagree, and then we were bringing it back to the group, so.
But actually, like,
Yes.
are the children responsible for all decision choices, are their parents and designated guardians responsible?
Their parents and designated guardians won't be here if they're 12, they may not.
Don't worry about 12.
Right, so under that,
Yeah.
then I think we thought that would stand alone in the children's behavior
Right.
policy, but we can certainly add it, it was just.
But also, like, the policy is that a 12-year-old can supervise an 8-year-old, so the 8-year-old is a patron. They're not here with the parent or guardian, they
Right.
can be here with the 12-year-old. So at some point, you have to say each person is responsible for themselves, especially if we're allowing children to be here without a parent.
Mhm.
So I think, yes, I think patrons is fine.
Unless we say anyone 12 or under is not, can't use a computer.
No.
We don't wanna do.
No,
Right, yeah.
As long as it's in the children's policy.
I was
think
gonna
it's
say, what, I don't think it's in the children's.
I mean, there was a whole thing about your local print, so I remember we had these
Yeah.
conversations, and we just didn't have to take all that out.
The local apprentice is still in there somewhere, I
Mhm.
saw it today.
Maybe it's in the children's
I think it's in
policy.
the
It's a borrowing.
Yeah, it's not.
I thought it was borrowing, actually.
Oh, yeah, it's in borrowing.
Yeah, okay.
This, of all of them, this was the most difficult.
Well, it touches on freedom of information,
Yeah.
access to information, so it should be the more.
No, I think this one is the one that we most thought, like, policy might not be the same as where we land philosophically, and it might not be where we land procedurally, but the language was such that it would protect or be clear. So that's, we don't necessarily think we have achieved the perfect balance, but we were trying to balance between those.
Okay.
Because there was a lot that wasn't true necessarily. I mean, it was. But yes, I mean, I'd be happy to put a line about the children's, should we, I don't know if we just.
When we get to the children's room, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can,
All right,
let's not, can we hold off on this one until we do
Yes.
the borrowing and
Yeah.
the,
sure.
children's room policy, just to make sure that we are.
Yep.
Happy with how we are. phrasing it.
Yes, all right. Then what, since we've been talking about it, let's go skip to children in the library for the next one. Okay, I think I had a question. Cannot. Oh, well, there's just a technical thing. The parent or supervising person may leave the children's room, but cannot leave the library during the program, but the program might not be in the children's room.
I think that's okay, because if it is in the children's room, you can leave the children's, like, you might want to go to the children's room to escape your child.
If you're in the skirts, I think you're trying to say if, or in a reading room.
If you're in a meeting, it means, yeah,
It's really the location of the
program.
program.
but may not leave the library.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
so if we could change it, yeah.
The program, whatever, program.
Location or just.
Event location or event space.
Even just. This is too much. Space where the program is being held.
Yeah, and then take out during the program at the end. What does that mean?
Take out the program.
At the end of
During the
sentence,
program,
Yeah, it
at the
doesn't
end of
really
the sentence.
transfer.
The line about a parent will be notified if the child is unattended or needs supervision, that could be a parent or designated guardian.
And I think we were gonna put may for everything too, instead of will. Like we have the
Yeah.
right to
Mhm.
Yeah,
or designated, what was,
is it designated guardian?
thinking? Same with the police, like we didn't think that was a likely event, but keeping it in there and saying may.
Well, yeah, I mean, just in case, like, what if that kid got abandoned, right? It would be a safe place to abandon a child, but well, this never happens, but it would be.
Please no.
And then I do think, where's the line about the parent? About that they are responsible for their children's.
So I'm looking at the freedom to
Okay.
view statement right now, just
Yeah.
to see if it covers minors and it would not. I mean, it's just general patrons.
Yeah.
But it doesn't specify that it also applies to minors.
So when we say library staff members are not responsible for unattended children under the age of 12, should we say including, for related to library activities or internet or anything, or do we not?
I guess for me, if I was a patron looking up, seeing something that I didn't like on someone else's computer and I was like, what's the policy here? I'd be expecting to find it in the internet use policy, not in the children's library necessarily.
But there's also the books that people don't like seeing.
I know, and is that the collection development policy? I'm trying to figure out what
Where
other
the-
policy
yeah.
is there, and so that I can see what we've said before. It's not in the borrowing.
So what we did, I guess, in the internet policy was just use patron as umbrella, but we should subdivide and put children.
I don't think the children have I don't think it's separate for them. I think they can choose and decide, but the parents and guardians should know
That they have the right to restrict their child's
that
use,
only their child.
and only their
Yeah.
child, and that's the,
Right,
like, I can't say that one of your children can't see.
yeah.
I can say my children can't see it, and I will take it off the internet here.
But we could cover it if we just put it in the children's one.
And
Is putting, so my concern is the inconsistency of saying that children can borrow anything in a different policy than the children's one. Should we then be?
I mean, there can be overlap. I mean, put an asterisk that says, in here, this is as per the internet policy, blah, 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 as per the borrowing policy, blah, blah.
My only concern about doing that is then we have to make sure they're always consistent.
Well, that's absolutely,
So if
yeah.
we put it in one thing and somebody has a question about internet or borrowing or collection development, then we're pointing them to the right section.
Which, yeah.
Is it collection development that it's in?
So really, there's two things. It's staff are not responsible for what your children are seeing or reading, and parents are.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's hard to put, I know it belongs on the policy, but it's hard to like, it's almost like a double negative, right? Like, it's hard to say, our policy is, well, I guess it is, but that's what I'm thinking. This is what you have,
This is like one of those hard.
yeah, you have to do this for, like, it's not our policy to do this for your child. You need to do this for your child.
And only your child. You can't decide what someone else's child does.
We do have it in the collection development policy where we say the reading, viewing, and hearing activity of children is ultimately the responsibility of parents, guardians who guide and oversee their own children's development.
So could we copy that same statement and put it in the internet use policy as the second place that's a viewing activity?
Yeah.
Does it make sense to just remind parents you still have control over what your kids see?
Yeah, collection development doesn't feel like a policy that I would necessarily think of automatically to go to look for.
And there's no similar things in the children's policy, so to like put only the internet in the children's doesn't make sense to me.
so I added this as a suggestion, but we can look it up. A parent has the right to limit access to library and internet services for their child only. But like you said, that language in the other one might be perfect, or it might not belong here in children in the library.
I think it does belong in the children. I would maybe say for their, like, for their child only, but I'm not sure if that's a little bit of curtail.
Right, all about it.
Yeah.
Like the one that we have in the collection development policy, which says the reading, viewing, and hearing activity of children is ultimately the responsibility of parents / guardians who guide and oversee their own children's development.
Sophie, I'm gonna send that to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that.
And the reason I like that is the reading, the viewing, and hearing, like if they find their kid watching somebody else's kid doing stuff, they still have the responsibility to guide their own children away from that screen if they so choose.
I'm sending that to you in an email, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Right now.
Refreshing, right?
Okay. It's sending now. Sending.
Look at that one.
It's sending.
The collection development? No, we haven't reviewed that one.
It's
No.
collection development. I think that was one of the ones we laid over listed.
So long.
February 10th, 2023.
So it's a little newer.
It's newer.
It's newer. And that was inappropriate.
So we added the reading, viewing, and hearing activity of children is ultimately the responsibility of parents, guardians who guide and oversee their own children's development. At the end of children in the library.
But the responsibility of their parents and guardians, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are parents. I don't think we said that.
No, we should.
We'll have to fix it next time.
Yes. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I feel better about having that statement in there, just to make it clear that you can parent the way you want to parent.
Do we think that also belongs in the internet policy, or are we not back?
This is the
same thing?
No, this is.
So this is
Children's
children's
library.
Sorry.
Nuh-uh. I can copy it and drop it into the borrowing as well. It's the same, at least it's consistent.
Internet.
with the-
I think if you can put it in the internet, and then let's look at the borrowing, and I bet there's a place for it there too.
You could put it right after the patrons line, I think.
I mean, part of me feels that that's never gonna not be true, right? That's the fact that we're putting that in several different policies, it's never not going to be.
I think it's covering
You know what I mean?
For
Like,
all the people that are coming and saying they can't see this, they shouldn't see this, da, 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 da.
Yeah, yeah,
Having
yeah.
it in multiple places.
absolutely, that's kind of the thing.
Well, we have the freedom to view and the freedom to read and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
intellectual freedom links to those policies in multiple places too. So I think it's just the consistency of saying we value these things and this is what our
Yeah.
policies are based on
Yeah.
consistently.
And I think if we're also gonna commit to having sort of an ongoing review of policies, we're always gonna be kind of like,
Yeah.
things that are repetitive. And everything.
Stephanie, can you just change one more thing in that last paragraph, which is
I
parents,
did
children,
clear that.
children, parents/guardians.
Yes,
I don't know if you have to say designated on the paragraph above. We had it in the previous thing, but we could probably just say guardian.
here, take it out.
Take that out there, and then in the next paragraph, do parent/guardian. In the first word.
Sam or Mike, do you guys see any problems with us putting this in multiple places in these policies? Does it support the librarians to do so?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. How do we feel about voting on internet with that ad and children as is now?
Children, yes, but internet,
We haven't circled that.
Okay,
Sorry.
Where did it get inserted?
yeah, let's just insert right. Yeah, there.
I like where that kept up there.
I'm comfortable with internet and children.
Okay.
Are we okay? Okay,
We're gonna internet also
yeah. So let's, let's vote on those two.
Together or separate?
Yeah, let's do them together.
All right, I move to approve the library internet policy and the children in the library policy.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Let's go to borrowing.
Who seconded that?
It was me.
I can clean this up after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, can't I not? One of them was like, you don't have access to make this change.
That was the whole start where, yeah.
I added two things today. I don't think that the line the library does not serve in local parentis necessarily fits here. I'm not sure of the first purpose there. Oh, where in the highlighted section, the second paragraph.
I think it was there and we were not sure if we need to keep it or not.
Okay.
So, I think now we've kind of addressed it in the.
I think in the other policies.
Do we need to link to any of that?
No, I think it's okay.
And this MBLC policy is not accessible without sending it to Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one,
Yeah.
okay, it's the same as this one.
So that one also can't get into.
Oh, that's on the SharePoint.
Oh.
You've got like your lot there.
And then I load it and send it.
If you're allowed to share it, then you could download it and put it on the so right?
It's a,
They must have,
it's a MBLC thing, so if I,
they have like a website open to the public.
no,
Then this way would be open to the public.
I just send it to everybody. Can you guys open it?
Apparently my sound's on inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Should it be public? And if so, like public, like in the policy? And if it's okay, can you put it on the library site somewhere, somewhere on the Littleton site so that we can link to it? From there, because so that we can, so other people can click on it. Yeah.
It does not exist in the MBLC.
There isn't an MPLC.
A lot of restrictions.
I'll just try it, try to me. It goes to overdrive. Well, it seems to me that, does anyone else have any other feedback about this, about the borrowing policy?
One thing we did was that, I mean, everything says May again, because we know that when it is 9 weeks overdue, the can, you know, it might not be sent by certified mail or whatever, but including in May, just gives room for that.
I just see, I don't know why this is the thing I'm harping on today, but parents slash guardians card. And under registration, the second paragraph. I feel like this is the his, hers, theirs of today. Yeah.
So then, parental permission, is that still okay as a term with parental permission? Parent, or should we change it to with parent or guardian permission to be consistent, the next sentence?
I would make it consistent.
Yeah, I agree.
Search for the word parent. Parent guardian, parent guardian. Yeah, we're good. That's the last one on the page.
Okay, so I put it in without policy. Okay.
So that's, Stephanie, the policy is now here. I'll send you that link too. Okay.
The book I just turned in fell into the like 9 weeks or more overdue box.
What,
Telling you it's now
did it work? Did you get whatever alert you're supposed to get?
I got all the emails up to that point, yes. Reminding me
So-
that my son hadn't returned it.
Stephanie, I just sent you the, well, it could be sending, but the link that should go there.
It will also confirm that they do shut down your library card if you have too many things over here.
Dan. Can you please take out the
I think we
underscore?
said May shut it down.
It used to be Will, and it did. My kids really know how to push it.
Just in the line, it can be there in the link, but maybe not in the title, in the name.
And then this link also changed?
That's the same link. If you're talking about the one that's spelled out there,
Mm-hmm.
that is the same link as what I just sent you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Do we make a motion on this one?
I move to approve violent prevention.
Did you second me? You second, okay.
Just a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I would now know the date, or the year that's coming.
Almost there, guys.
Okay, Houghton Historical Room.
Is there, I think everyone has permission now, right?
Try that.
Were there any changes in this or updates?
A few, but it was like to the bulk Wednesday thing, right? Like it was, oh, that's right, right? I think this one was no names. Yeah. I still can't say it, but I'll.
Actually, we cleaned up the language a little, there was a little, murkiness with like must sign the key, right? There's
Yes,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
kind of clean up some of them.
It's all coming back to me.
Yeah. It's a fog.
Right, because it was like you have to go to the table and then get this from the table and then get that, and it could all be
Yeah.
kind of addressed under one sentence. So this one seemed, I don't think we did anything meaningful with content, but we changed the.
Mm-hmm.
Clear. So if anything doesn't look right, Sam, and we might have tagged Sam in a question, but like the library has a microphone machine available. Before it was like you're gonna be watched all the time if you use it.
Right.
I'm okay with this as is. Anyone else? Where, Katrina?
It says somewhere that there's no food and drink allowed.
Mhm.
Okay, that's current, I suppose, let me to that.
Okay.
Now it's like,
Okay.
And this works for librarians.
yeah, Sam and Mike, it's true, like you have to sign out the key at the main library desk and so it's all really well.
Well, usually we just go down and unlock it for you now. Yeah, it's the
No, I mean-
same,
Do we have keys that we would?
then give it one down,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what you wanna do, once it had its own lock.
yeah.
So does line 2 actually is a librarian will open it for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Do you want us to say that? I mean, would you, if you always will, then we should have that.
I mean, sometimes it's kind of like a 2-second thing. If we do give out the key, it's just go down and unlock it and bring it back. It's not like a setting key specific,
You're basically allowing them.
yeah.
If you let them in lockwise, do they still have to come sign out when we're done? Or they can just leave?
They can just-
So line 2, what actually happens? In practice,
In real life?
just what happens, because
Either a staff member goes down and unlocks it, or we give them a key to go unlock it and then they bring it back.
like immediately,
Yeah,
So librarian, you go to the cert desk to have a librarian give you access to it.
I mean, why don't we just say patrons must check in with the librarian to access the Hood Historical Record?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about a key.
But forget about how, like, 'cause the main thing is you're speaking to a librarian, so.
And should we say the cert desk,
At the state,
at the circulation desk?
because you don't want them going to like children.
Right. Hey,
Right,
okay.
right, exactly.
Yeah, good.
It's nitpicky. How about patrons wishing to use, or wanting to use the Hood Historical Room?
Because they're not currently using them.
Right.
But they actually.
That's me just.
Oh, that's good. To be granted access to the space or it's fine?
To be granted, it's, maybe that's what they're doing.
Should be room instead of space.
Yeah.
And granted access to the room.
Good.
Are the materials locked too?
Or just granted access?
well,
I think it's granted access.
some,
Granted access.
She already said room was.
the,
One's in the, yeah.
It does say that on 8. Well, I don't know if that's it or not, but the archives are in storage. Researchers must request the items they wish to use. Does that cover that? Anyway, yeah. I'll figure it out.
I think we're overthinking.
Yeah, yeah, great. Good. Does anyone else have any more thoughts or questions or suggestions? Okay, motion?
I'm going to approve the historical room policy.
Yes, I mean.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, so this last one.
Oh, yeah, so this one, we had a few questions. Like the exhibits should be suitable for viewing by all ages, that just opened it up for lots of questions, and the one right back, we were back and forth, right? I think about taking out the Blumenford Library Board of Trustees and its representatives reserve the right to prohibit the display of art. We didn't like the spirit of that, but if it says that in the policy, at least there is that option in case, we were actually, the example we used is more like less is it inappropriate and more is it timely? Like, did something happen in the last couple of weeks that now this could be unsuitable and they needed to have some feedback about that or something? It was less about to and more like, could there be some sort of fail-safe if something becomes inappropriate or not time panning?
Like New York City before 9/11. And this was,
Right. I had a terrible, but like that day, it was, Jared Duran from the Red Sox had just been overheard using a homophobic slur, and it was my son's birthday, and I just bought him a Jared Duran jersey. So like, I would have proudly given it to him the day before, and then it changed. So that was, it.
Yeah.
I know that's not hard, but like, is there
It's
something that
something
should be
like,
mindful of?
yeah,
So that's the cover line after it, but the exhibit should be suitable for viewing by all ages, and you didn't know how to.
I feel like just being able to say, maybe not give any example of, like, I think, me crossing out that second line, just saying that, reserve the right to.
take down or to,
To change, or what to change the decision or something
it
like
could
that.
actually be positive like that, to change the display.
Yes, prohibit feels harsh, maybe to say like, to, reverse the committee's decision or something like that. Right, because it says above, it's like it's like the art committee.
Right,
Well, aren't they our representatives?
they are. So I mean, there's two questions. One is, how do we phrase that there might be a situation in which the artist or the art becomes not what we want to be showing?
Yeah,
And the other part is, who makes that decision?
right.
If it's the committee, is it you? Is it the board of trustees? Who is it?
Please don't get us into this situation.
In real life.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Stephanie's example is a good one, something
Yeah.
like that, that would be like,
Yeah.
oh.
This didn't age well over my
Yeah.
Well, and I'm okay with like there being a ability to change
Yeah.
decision in this to give us the leeway to do so.
Yeah. Well, the decision was mentioned so long ago.
For now, it's too far away from listening.
I think I changed the exhibit.
Well, but like not,
Yeah, well, I like that,
I like it too.
change the exhibit.
Just in my mind, I went all Jackson Pollock, like we can do whatever we want to this art.
I would not recommend that. It's a lot of cleanup for the village director.
Okay, so that solves that sentence. That part of the sentence, who would be making that decision?
The suitable part,
No, the part that says the Reuben Horror Library Board of Trustees and its representatives. I don't know who our representatives are, just us, I guess. But who would reserve the right to change the exhibit? Is that us? Is that Sam? Is that the committee?
I mean, the committee consists of Sam and two.
Yeah,
Two volunteers, right?
so it would probably be me.
Yeah, we might say something like, "Hey, Sam, we think," but it would still be you that would decide. You and that
it could
The
be a
gallery.
librarian who comes to
gallery.
you and you like, we have an emergency.
Maybe in consultation with, or something like that, or something,
I think it's okay to say the committee.
I think
They're the ones who have the
at
right.
this one, they're the ones making the decision on what's coming here,
Yeah.
so they should be part of the decision, like if something has to be
Yeah.
amended.
So I think I would change that whole line of the Reuben Horror Library Board of Trustees and its representatives to be what do we call it? The gallery committee? The gallery committee.
And its representatives or no?
No,
reserves the right to change the exhibit.
And we don't, as library board of trustees, disagree with the committee, we don't wanna be able to have an ultimate vote and decide.
if you disagree with the committee.
Mhm.
Yes, we do.
We do,
Okay.
I think ultimately we're the ones elected here,
So should we say the gallery, then we shouldn't say gallery committee and the board of trustees, or in consultation with the board of trustees?
In consultation or?
Or the library board of trustees in consultation with the gallery committee? I mean, Which one is it?
I think we lead the signs
Okay,
and the gallery committee comes next. The
Okay.
question is, what are the words in between that?
yeah.
We can definitely consult with them.
I was like, hi.
Is somebody in?
It's an open meeting, you're welcome to join.
Hi, Andy.
Like,
That was scary.
I bet he's great stories.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Maybe, did we say like, length of time, like what's the?
The length of time that
Yeah,
each
we
thing is
don't
up for a
really
month.
specify, right?
Well, it's everything's up for a month.
Yeah, but I want, could say maybe that's the way to end the sentence, to change the exhibit before the conclusion of the
Okay.
agreement or something.
Or I
Or
don't
before it's
Yeah,
concluded.
Or, yeah, or
know, I know, it's harsh, but
Cause that just feels like, oh my gosh, what if they change my exhibit? Like, I just feel like the undue for me, concern for somebody that's not a problem.
We're not gonna touch the art itself. Right. We're gonna take it off the wall.
We could say, if we said exhibition, we could say before its end.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, I like that.
before it's scheduled end or just?
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
And are we comfortable with the exhibits should be scheduled for being biology?
I feel like that's maybe, should that be,
I feel like that
It
needs to
says
be
that
fine.
anyway.
right?
Oh, it does say that.
Definitely here, and then are we okay with it?
Do we have it under the list that like in all what are those words for dots?
Well,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, so it's the first bullet.
So we have it there, right, on bullet one. So I think we don't have to have a line.
Yeah. And the gallery committee is the group that's deciding those things, right? So I
Well,
think
yeah, I
that's
would
fair.
hope the gallery committee helped to inform the choices of what.
Yeah.
Was selected. If someone's doing nudes, it's probably not the right place to just. In the children's area of our life. Just suggesting for the gallery committee, but we don't do that.
Something about how the gallery committee is created.
I know.
Cause
Is that-
it's always been Cheryl and.
More
and
procedure.
director.
Yeah, that's a procedure, man.
That's not a policy.
That's a procedure. You get to guide that procedure.
That sounds like a you problem, so.
Given that it consists of you and 2 volunteers. Although I do like your current volunteers.
Who are your volunteers right now?
It's Cheryl,
Yes.
it's always been Cheryl. And I can't remember, Geraldine, is her name?
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this now. Thank you.
I think that there's not my concerns to be.
Made a tiny change at the end, just because I was reading it over, sold works may only be removed from the exhibit if there is similar work to exhibit, it's at citation to display.
That sounds better.
And I think this is the one that I can't clean up, like if I say approve that, like, you don't have the right to do that.
Oh, to come to
accept
accept
it.
things.
Yeah.
I'm accepted.
Okay, cool. All right, we should vote on it before you change the date.
I move to approve the exhibits and display policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Policy committee, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's amazing how much you got done. Thank you.
It sounds like you're gonna keep bringing some
Appreciation.
Yeah, soon.
There's a random.
Summertime will resume.
I
I saw, were there minutes for their meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to review those as part of it.
That's for the agenda. That's what needs the first meeting.
And I thought I saw their meeting minutes, so we
Yeah,
need to approve them so
There are
they're.
actually 2 sets of it, so I have to put it up in the next.
Okay,
Okay,
That's
we'll do
fine.
next month.
Yeah, we'll do both of them next time. Okay, let's move on to, is there any other business? Trustee updates. I only have that Sarah, Katrina and I are going to go to the conference, which one is it? The MLC conference, in October. Looking forward to carpooling. Well, that'll be good.
They usually get a trustee orientation after it, but I
They
haven't seen the
do.
details yet.
They are, I think they're going to.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's one of those opportunities to get access to
Yeah.
orientation.
Did everyone get the email about it? Okay,
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. That's my only update.
I did 2 bingo cards and I won the chocolate basket from
Again, it's Sarah. Yay.
Not sharing.
I shared with work.
I'm looking forward to the Janet,
So am I. Yes.
program with the Apple Field, sorry. Appleman was what I just volunteered for. Apple Field. I heard just good.
Yes. Yeah. Talk about it another time.
Yeah.
No, I started it with my kids and then I pivoted to all of them.
Yeah. No need to say anything. If anyone else has anything to share, feel free. Okay, moving on. Our next meeting is on October 10th, at 6:30. Do we have a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you, everybody.